Welcome to the IICS Insiders Podcast. Are you a member of the IPECA Integrated Christian School community? Or do you know someone who is? Would you like to hear from people around the school and learn more about what they're doing? Join me, Annika Brown-Jones, the head of Curriculum and Instruction, every month as I interview IICS students, teachers, leaders, and many others from across our community. Come along to connect or reconnect to listen to IICS Insider stories of learning, growing, and engaging with those who care. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 4 of the IICS Insiders Podcast. I pick up where we left off in my conversation with IICS subject group leaders for the languages, math, social sciences, and the natural sciences. In episode 3, we talked about school identity and school culture and values. In this episode, we explore curriculum, subject group leadership, pedagogy, and more. Let's jump right in. We have moved towards the IB curriculum in the senior high. And one of the questions that comes up is, how do we marry being a Christian school with the IB curriculum, which is set to be humanistic? Does anybody have any thoughts about how we will maintain our Christian ethos here at IICS, but do partake and benefit from and have our students benefit from being students in the IB curriculum?
Yeah, ICS, I believe, is a Christian school. Then our school using IB curriculum, it is like a public school. But here we want to emphasize that Christian is the core value. So, for example, I have a lesson. It's about the origin of biodiversity in ESS. And then the theory of the origin of species come to the evolution theory. And then I have said to the students, here you need to able to distinguish between faith and science. Faith is something that you need to believe, while science is something that you can prove it using evidences so that it becomes a theory. But this is a theory. It may change. We don't know the real truth. The real truth must come from the Bible only, from God only. So here in ICS, we don't teach only IB, but we integrate our biblical principle to the students.
Thank you, Ms. Yangwi. Is there any other educator here who might want to add to what Ms. Yangwi has just shared with us? Ms. Elvie?
I can add to Mr. Yangwi. As our ESLer, the first one is faithful followers of Christ. How to implement that value in our class? Well, we can start from morning devotion. So in the morning devotion, students are really taught by God. Okay, so when they share, I believe that that's the wisdom, because wisdom is the first knowledge, right? So it's good when sharing in a devotion, they can share the goodness of Jesus Christ in their life, and I also believe that one also they can apply for their future, so they can defend a biblical worldview while understanding opposing worldviews.
Yes, I remember when I spoke with both sets of students, the senior high students and the junior high students. They spoke a lot about relationships, and I'm wondering to what extent is our school relational in the way we handle our students and our parents and so on. To what extent is that, do you think, based on our Christian beliefs?
I think that because we have a program called PCG, which is Pastoral Care Group, I see myself as a shepherd. So I have these sheep that God has allowed to be placed in under me, that I can guide and direct through scripture, through prayer, through daily devotions with them. And so I always remind myself that that's what my role is in this position, that I'm their shepherd. And as kids are developing, they need someone to be there to continue to guide them and direct them, just like lost sheep. And so I think that reminds me that this is my role, to be there, have that relationship with them. And I think that through the commitment that you see in the teachers as that shepherd for the students know that we care so much for them. And they also see us in that role.
Yes, so many of us here are pastoral care teachers. And when I spoke with the junior high, the students there felt that their house program adds that relational element as well. I know that in the senior high, there is no house program in the way that it is done in the junior high. So PCTs actually play that role, and the groups are well knitted together. But what would you say to those who may say this is indoctrination? This is we are going outside of our boundaries by sharing Christ amongst our students. Any thoughts about that? I think that's one of the things that we as educators need to be aware of, that sometimes as an IICS insider, we have one mind, well, not sometimes, we always have one mind about what we do. But then, how would we respond to critics? And so food for thought. And let's come back to that. Now, let's talk about our curriculum. Mr. Yangwi, you mentioned that you spent most of your time here at IICS working with the NSW curriculum coming out of Australia. Can you describe what that curriculum is like?
Yeah. I'm being in IICS in the beginning using NSA up to this one is the last year. I have experienced that NSA more emphasis on concept understanding as well as skill of investigations, while IB here has different emphasis. IB more to the skills rather than concept. So here, skill and collaboration among students as well as teachers, it's not present in NESA or New South Wales curriculum. So here, yes, both curriculum has strength, but I believe with the new curriculum, IB curriculum, we hope here the skill that students learn could be useful for them in the future. The knowledge and concept may be forgotten, but the skill, hopefully, the students still hold it. For example, in IB, we have extended essay. It's not an easy task. The students need to write at least 4,000 words, and the teacher help as a supervisor. Here is different with the NESA. NESA doesn't have. And the other thing, IB also having internal assessment in science. They need to do an investigation, to do a research, and then create a report. Now, here, IB also emphasis on investigation as well. So I can say that IB is a quite balanced curriculum.
Yes, and I think when we think about skills, definitely, but conceptual understanding, I believe, is also a very big part of the IB curriculum. When we look at collaboration and conceptual understanding tend to go together, like connecting ideas within a subject and across a subject. And we have been doing some project-based work in that area. I don't know whether maybe Mr. Castro or Ms. Ira would like to share their thoughts about conceptual understanding within the two curricula that we've had, the NSW and the IB curriculum that we've just taken up.
Pretty much mentioned by Payangwi already. Like with the NSW, it is more like content driven. But with the diploma program, like for example, like in math, sure, the students, they get to learn about the content, but it really doesn't end there. So the other part of the assessment, which what we call the exploration, it allows the student to really get to see the practical application, the real life application of what they are learning, and that's what makes it what's the right word? Makes it more. What's the right word for this? Like for me, it gives more meaning. It gives more meaning to what they are learning. Sure, they know how to do this. They know how to do that. They know how to solve this. They know how to solve that. But when you put it outside, will the students still be able to see the connection? And that's what I like about the IB program from my subject.
So real life application of learning, and hands-on application of learning as well.
Yes, and just like you said, the concepts that they are learning, it is like being reinforced. They really get to see the connection. Oh, this is why. Those aha moments, that's the one that makes it really exciting and very meaningful.
Yes. So each one of you here has been recently appointed to the role of subject group leader. And I was just wondering, how do you see your role fitting in to the teaching and learning, and how do students benefit, or even the faculty and the school as a whole benefit from having you in these roles of subject group leader for different subject groups? Would anyone like to respond? Ms. Ira, perhaps?
Okay. To add a bit, from Sir Castro's ideas, in languages, we have 7 concepts: identity, community, communication, transformation, representation, and then using that concept, we use like this different perspective. So then the student allow to give idea based on their perspective to represent some community, and then by that they show their identity in class confidently, confident being different, and everybody will respect to accept them the way they are with their own thought. And to answer your question about our role as a group leader, for me personally, I can see that group leader is one step above other teacher, let's say like that, as a position, so that we can see wider and we can see what is the goal of the IB, and then we can map what is the target, and we can plan what is the, let's say junior high in Bahasa Indonesia department has to change, has to plan, has to, have a different approaching to students in learning in class. So then the big goal in senior high will be achieved. So then it's not just the, let's say, quote unquote work of group leader, but it is a work of together. So all of us work together. The difference is the group leader can see wider. Maybe other teacher cannot see yet because the position is different, but the group leader can see it really well. And thank God in Bahasa Indonesia department we work really well, and they willing to change They also open to receive, let's say, input, maybe criticize, and they are willing to change, and they are willing to listen and also to discuss and admit that they have to change. We cannot stay like this for forever, you know.
Yes, and I see all of you as subject group leaders developing or expressing a teachable spirit amongst yourselves as a group, and I'm sure that you're demonstrating to your teachers that, you know, we're in this together to grow and to learn, and I admire that, what I'm seeing from you in those leadership roles. And of course, you have partially as well the responsibility of biblical integration into the teaching and learning. Ms. LV, do you have any thoughts about how to go around that, or how do you go around being a group leader who helps with biblical integration?
Yes, as the subject coordinators, okay, we have like one of our job desks is to lead, to mentor, and also to motivate students. So yes, to apply the biblical integration, like in my subject, of course we cannot just bring the Bible first to them, but how to apply the Bible first in the business terminologies. Example, like when I said that money is not the best motivator, okay, then we can also give them some explanation that in the workplace, okay, sometimes employees cannot be prepped just from money, so they learn and how to become the real business owner who can walk the talk, okay, and also they can implement integrity.
Good, thank you, Ms. LV, and I like that. Become a leader who walks the talk. You know, and so that's what we're all doing as leaders in curriculum, leaders of learning. We're demonstrating that we not only expect others to deliver in a certain way, whether the teachers that we're leading or the students themselves, but we too are leading by example. Yes. And so at this point, I want us to take just a short break and hear from our IICS Insider Ambassador.
IICS Insider Stories. Here we're bringing you updates about what we've been doing inside IICS. IICS Senior High has just celebrated Intercultural Day 2021, where students were exposed with cultures from different parts of the world and explored international mindedness. Our senior high students got the chance to explore Korean and Tanzanian cultures through this event as they learned about traditional Korean crafts and cooking traditional Tanzanian dish. Our next story comes from IICS Junior High. As a part of the closing program in Junior High's house activity for the first semester, the 5 houses, Bali Shark, Java Rhinos, Komodo Dragons, Papua Eagles, and Sumatra Tigers each prepared a virtual tour while presenting about one country's cultures, traditions, foods, and more. The students learned about how God created the world uniquely and to embrace the beauty of diversity. They also met with the very own IICS alumni to discuss about their experiences as a member of a global community while living overseas.
All right, so welcome back. And I want to pick up again on that question that we put on hold, so to speak, earlier, when we were asking, how would we respond to critics of what we do, having a biblical Christian focus? And maybe, Ms. Ira, would you like to share your thoughts?
Yeah. In class and even in PCG morning devotion, in everywhere, we allow students to have different perspective. We didn't do the indoctrinize. We allow them to ask question and then to have perspective and then come to us and discuss different things. And they feel confident to ask that to the teacher. So if we face that situation, we have our own perspective, and we not like, oh, you wrong, that's incorrect answer. The correct answer is this, and beside that, no, you are not our community and blah blah blah. No, so like what I said before, integrity, respect, and work together. It means we respect others' perspective, but the thing is, the teachers should show them and demonstrate, like what Miss Elfie also said, walk the talk. It means the God word should be in our life. It should be shown in our lives, and then the student can see it, and they know that the correct answer is in us, without us saying that you did something wrong, you sinner, or whatever. So that's it, Miss. So it's not indoctrinized. We respect others' perspective.
Yes, and as an IICS insider, as a community, we are respectful of others, and we do listen. Mm-hmm. We are open to hearing and acknowledging various perspectives. And just like we're required to do biblically, we are not a community that condemns. It's not about condemnation, But let's move on really quickly then, and thank you very much, Ms. Ira. Mm-hmm. And I want to do a speed round because we're coming to the end of our conversation here today. And I want to do a speed round because I did this with the kids, and maybe we need to lighten up our conversation a little bit. I know we're all adults and we're educators and we're very serious people. But at the same time, let's talk about a few things. Now, I'm just going to ask you the question, and then you, as quickly as you can, respond. So the first one, best experience, worst experience, most funny experience. Any taker?
Funny experience.
Nice.
Yeah, it was when I think it was one of those leadership training when we went away. But nighttime when everyone was asleep, because I have insomnia, everyone in the room, they're asleep except me. Mm-hmm. And people were snoring. And what I did, I recorded it. It was like a symphony. Like it's for like almost an hour of recording. Yeah, for me. And I do enjoy listening to that once in a while.
Did you share it?
No.
Oh,
it's just for my ears only. Yeah, they have no idea.
Yeah, it would have been, everybody will know now. Mr. Castro has a recording of the snores of members of this community. Anybody else? Best experience, worst experience, most funny experience? Ms. Elvie?
I will share about the best experience in business class. So in business, we have motto that we learn business and we do business. And also we care for the others. One thing that I amaze from my students, normally from their small business, they have to donate like, I just say 10%, like the Bible said that 10% offering. But then from their net profit, they donate all. And then I said, why you donate all your profit? And then they said that they want to apply what they have learned, that they also care for the others. So that one is really the best moment with the students. Actually, if we treat them well and then we also teach them well, all those things that we have taught to them, and then they can accept it, and then they can also be the doers, to other people.
That's lovely. That's lovely. They are blessed to be a blessing.
Yes.
Mr. Yangwi, did you want to share anything?
Yes. Usually when I have a best experience, when I meet the alumni of IICS, when I met them, usually they share their story about when they're learning biology at school. And then they said like this, "Sir, at my era when I learned biology, you only give me this much mark. But when I moved into college, I got a better mark, 90 or 100 even. So in your class, I never get this much. But I said to them, you are lucky here. So you have the strong basic concept in IICS, and then you are getting better in university. And then I felt also they are more mature. So here in IICS, I believe when a teacher can plant a seed, maybe it's not yet bear any fruit at this time, but it will bear fruit in the future. We believe that our God will nurture the seeds and growing and then make a fruit. So here, in this moment, I feel that, I'm being blessed as a teacher. Maybe in other field work, we don't have this experience. This is the one that cannot be paid by money. So here, when I have meet with alumni, it is kind of best experience. I can share. I can know that they are more mature. They can live in abroad with a successful, maybe a part-time job or other things. So here, I believe that it is best experience as well to other teachers here.
That's beautiful. And now let's move to the next question. Thank you, Mr. Yang Wee.
You're welcome.
The next one, online, offline, or hybrid? Why or why not? Dr. Jen?
I think definitely as teachers, we all want to come back to school. But I want to share a story, just a quick story. One of my students who did join hybrid for grade 10, I said, "How did it go, your first hybrid day?" She said, "Miss, it was fantastic." And she was so excited, brimming over with joy. And I said, "What happened?" And she said, "Miss, I have friends, and I'm popular, and people like me." And I said, "That's what coming to school should feel like. You should feel like this is back to what is IICS Insider, right? You feel like you are needed here, you're wanted here, and you have friends." And so I definitely think not just for us as teachers that we want to be back in the classroom, but the students also want to see each other and be able to build those relationships that they've been lacking for the last 2 years.
Yes. Anybody else? Hybrid? Offline? Online?
Online.
Online.
Offline.
Offline.
Face to face. Yeah.
Face to face, yes.
Yeah, face to face. Because I want to really get to know my students. It's really very challenging just seeing them on the screen. Most of the time, just their foreheads and the ceilings, and you have to call their attention. Not to mention, of course, I like it when I can do direct intervention on the students, which is difficult to do in online.
Okay. What about Miss Ira?
For me, offline, of course. When I teach in front of my laptop, my voice still volume like in class. So then my neighbor can hear my voice. So it's like they listen and learning also together with the student in the GMIT. So I think it's more comfortable for me and also for the student to, teaching and learning in the class.
And so let's come back then to the question that helps us to reflect a little bit on being an IICS insider. And so I'm going to ask, and each one of you perhaps should give a response to this. You know you are an IICS insider when? Miss Elvie?
So I know when I am employed then. So
that's
when
really practical.
when I received my first induction training, so of course, then we have to, we are part of the IICS family, right? We are not only one hand, but we are a body, okay? And also a body of Christ in here. So of course that we have to be, as I said earlier, we must know our vision of what will be IICS vision and mission. So we can be in the same shoe. We can be in the same place, and we go to the same direction. Yeah.
Mr. Yangwi?
Yeah, I feel that when I feel that I'm insider in IICS, I think I feel every time and in my life when I enter to IICS. Why? Because here teachers are care one another, asking, "How are you, sir?" And then, "Can I pray for you?" Or is there any prayer point? Every day we ask these questions when we have a devotion. So I feel that, it is our Christian community. So one most influential moment in my life is when I have a brain tumor here. And then many people helped me, and many people pray for me, and then asked me, visited me. So here I really feel that this is my family.
Thank you, Mr. Yangwi. Mr. Castro?
Well, if you are not an unknown quantity,
Yeah.
meaning you come and then you know you have a place in the school, then I would say you are an insider.
Yes, you're a known quantity rather than an unknown quantity.
Yes, you're not invisible.
Yes. And that's a good one, because sometimes, I feel as if you're in a place where you constantly have to explain yourself, then maybe you don't belong there. But with known quantities, there is no need for an explanation. You're understood, you're accepted, and you understand how you're supposed to move through that known space. So, yes. Dr. Jen?
I think that you're an IICS insider when you leave this building and you're excited to see what's going to happen tomorrow and how God is going to allow us to learn something new, and you can't wait to come back.
Nice. And Ms. Yura?
Since the vision and mission of IICS or IPK is, let's say, no different with the Bible said, so I think I can say that similar with what Ms. Elfie said, because the IICS is a place, so then I can say that I am the IICS insider when the IPK required me. But then when the value is same, even though before I joined IICS, I can say that maybe it's too hyperbole. IICS, I am being IICS insider since before I am in IICS, because of the value is the same.
Right. And so maybe you gravitated towards IICS because you share the same values.
Yeah.
You have the same outlook and perspective. Now, I want to thank everyone here this afternoon for taking the time. I know you guys are very busy, and I know that you will be going back to class. You will be going back to doing what you do as group leaders and teachers. But thank you. Thank you for coming here and sharing your perspective and adding to the conversation about being an IICS insider and giving us another angle to what we do here, giving our listeners more insight into who we are. Thank you.
The most wonderful part of Christmas is spending time with family and friends. May your holidays be full of joy and good cheer. And on behalf of IPK Integrated Christian School, we're sending you our best wishes for a joyous Christmas and a new year filled with love, happiness, and prosperity. Stay healthy, everyone, and take care. God bless you.